Join me as I dive into the commodities trading war that shook the world and see if I can uncover the secrets that changed history. The commodities trading war is one of the most fascinating and least understood conflicts in modern history. Unlike traditional wars fought with soldiers and weapons, this one was fought in boardrooms, ports, exchanges, and shadowy back channels. No bombs fell, yet entire economies collapsed. No armies marched, yet millions felt the consequences in the prices of food, fuel, and everyday survival. At its core, this was a struggle for control over the world's most valuable resources: oil, gold, coffee, wheat, copper, sugar, and more. These are not just commodities, they are power. They determine which nations rise, which fall, and who gets to write the rules of the global economy. And for centuries, nations, empires, and corporations have understood one truth: control the commodities and you control the world. Long before stock markets and cryptocurrencies, commodities were the backbone of global wealth. Empires weren't built on paper money, they were built on spices, metals, grain, and energy. The British Empire was fueled by tea, sugar, and cotton. The Spanish Empire by silver and gold. The modern world by oil. Whoever controlled supply chains controlled trade routes, currencies, and political influence. But as global trade expanded, commodities stopped being just physical goods. They became financial weapons. Futures contracts, derivatives, and commodity exchanges allowed traders to profit not just from owning resources, but from predicting scarcity, panic, and geopolitical tension. And that's when the war truly began. One of the most dangerous weapons in the commodities trading war was market manipulation. Powerful trading houses, backed by banks and sometimes governments, learned how to restrict supply artificially, hoard commodities in storage, spread misinformation, exploit futures markets. By doing this, they could drive prices up or crash them overnight. A country dependent on food imports, suddenly facing hunger. An oil-exporting nation, suddenly drowning in debt when prices collapse. A developing economy, one bad commodity shock away from crisis. And the scariest part? Much of this happened legally, hidden behind complex financial instruments ordinary people never see. While consumers blamed inflation, droughts, or market forces, the real battles were being fought quietly between trading giants. Eventually, governments realized something alarming. They weren't just trading commodities. They were losing sovereignty. Countries dependent on commodity exports, especially in Africa, Latin America, and parts of Asia, found themselves trapped. When prices were high, wealth flowed out. When prices crashed, debt flooded in. To fight back, nations began using state power, export bans, subsidies, tariffs, strategic reserves, currency manipulation. Oil became the ultimate battleground. Energy-rich nations tried to control prices through alliances. Energy-poor nations tried to weaken producers through sanctions and financial pressure. This wasn't free trade. This was economic warfare. For decades, a small group of Western trading firms dominated global commodities. They controlled shipping, storage, insurance, and financing. But the balance of power didn't last. New players emerged, quietly, strategically, and aggressively. State-backed firms from Asia. Sovereign wealth funds. Resource-hungry emerging economies. They didn't just trade commodities, they secured them long-term, buying mines, ports, farmland, and oil fields outright. This shift terrified the old guard. Control was slipping. And when control slips, conflict follows. As competition intensified, the commodities trading war took a darker turn. There were accusations of corporate espionage, sabotage of supply routes, political interference, secret price-fixing meetings, intelligence agencies protecting national commodity interests. Suddenly, trading wasn't just about spreadsheets, it was about influence. Whistleblowers emerged. Scandals exploded. Entire banks were fined billions. But for every exposed scheme, many more remained hidden. This was a world where information was worth more than oil, and silence was priceless. Every great conflict has its architects. The commodities trading war produced some of the most fascinating figures in financial history. Ruthless tycoons who could move markets with a phone call. Brilliant economists who designed pricing models that shaped global trade. Politicians who gambled national futures on commodity bets. Traders who made fortunes, and enemies, overnight. Some became legends. Others vanished quietly. A few paid the ultimate price. Their decisions didn't just affect profits. They altered the economic destiny of entire nations. Every war has a moment when the tide turns. In the commodities trading war, that moment came when a major player made a bold, unprecedented move, one that rewrote the rules of global trade. Markets panicked. Prices swung violently. Old assumptions collapsed. Suddenly, long-term supply contracts replaced open markets. Strategic stockpiles became political weapons. Commodity pricing began shifting away from traditional power centers. This wasn't just a market event. It was a reordering of global economic power. A new generation of trading powers stepped forward, and the old order was forced to adapt, or fall behind. When the dust settled, the world was not the same. The commodities trading war revealed uncomfortable truths. Markets are not neutral. Prices are not purely natural. Power often hides behind economic logic. Countries rewrote trade policies. Corporations restructured supply chains. Investors realized commodities were no longer just assets. They were strategic tools. And ordinary people? They felt it through. Higher food prices, energy shocks, inflation waves, currency crises. The war may have faded from headlines, but its effects still shape your life today. The commodities trading war didn't end. It evolved. Today it continues through energy transitions, climate pressures, resource nationalism, supply chain weaponization. The same struggle remains. Who controls the essentials of human survival? And as history shows, the answer to that question determines who holds real power in the world. If you've enjoyed this dive into the commodities trading war, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think was the most significant factor in the outcome of the war? Was it market manipulation, state power, or the rise of new trading giants? Let me know in the comments. And if you're interested in more stories about the hidden forces that shape our world, be sure to check out my next video on the secret history of the global financial system. Do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe this channel. Because the biggest battles aren't always fought with weapons. Sometimes they're fought with prices.